want AI wins without waiting for a perfect data warehouse? In this presentation, we'll show how to deliver value now while building the foundations you'll need later. You'll learn which use cases thrive on small, well-chosen data sets and which truly require broader platforms. That way, you can invest where it pays off. We'll outline a simple roadmap that balances quick wins with the structures, data quality, access, security, lineage that make AI sustainable at scale. Please welcome Christine Vucot, Vice President of AI Solutions and Supply Chain Innovation, and Philippe Grandmaison, Director of AI, both at KPI Digital Solutions. Welcome.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready to go?
All right.
All right. Good morning, everyone. What a wonderful crowd we have here today. Bonjour tout le monde. Bienvenue à notre session. My name is Christine Vucot. I'm Vice President of Business Development, AI Strategy, and Supply Chain at KPI Digital. And with me today, I'm very pleased to have our Director of AI, Philippe Grandmaison.
Hi.
Today, we're going to take you through a very exciting session about something every executive has wrestled with. How do you move your AI data quickly when you don't have a data infrastructure and it's imperfect and it needs to catch up? The truth is, waiting for the perfect system means you can be waiting for a long time. But if you act now with the right approach, you can unlock your ROI, strengthen your competitive position, and build the foundation for a long-term success. And that's what we're going to take you through the next 20 minutes is how do we achieve that? Before we get into that, we'll explain to you a little bit for those who are not familiar with KPI Digital. We're a Canadian-owned consulting company, and we're very proud that we're just starting to celebrate 25 years of business being proudly owned and operated as our main headquarters in Montreal. We've worked with over 1,000 clients across 15 industries, both in the private and the public sector, and across our clients who have global scale. From manufacturing and supply chain to government, retail, consumer goods, and healthcare. We're known for being a bilingual company, collaborative, and we're very much outcome-driven. Our approach is very much hands-on, and we partner with our clients not just to design business solutions, but to execute them and deliver measurable results. So how do we do this across the industries? Well, we build deep expertise across industries by tailoring solutions to each sector's unique needs. Whether it's with OEE reporting in manufacturing, demand forecasting in retail, or control towers in supply chain, our goal is very simple. Enable better, faster decisions that enable growth, increase margins, improve customer satisfaction and retention, and especially in these days in the economy, is to de-risk your business. How do we go about doing this? So what we do in terms of our enablers is we deliver business value with our 4 pillars, which start with discovery, alignment, strategy, and delivery, whereby we have obviously AI and advanced analytics to enhance productivity and generate insights such as forecasting, computer vision, and LLMs. We have the data engineering and governance, which is building the robust, trusted pipelines that we need to manage our businesses. The BI and the scorecarding, really where it's the business intelligence to assist in making harmonized metrics and dashboards. And then encompassing all of this is ensuring that we have a strong strategy where we know the roadmap to where we need to be today and where we need to go. Because change management is also a very critical element in terms of adaptation when you're going through an AI transformation. So this combination allows us to deliver both rapid value with the quick wins and long-term satisfaction. But what we're here today to talk about, it's really about the strategy of how are we going to get there today and how are we going to get there quickly today.
So, Christine, what is the main demand driver right now for faster AI adoption in 2025?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. Because if there's one thing that we want to leave everybody with here is really the sense of urgency. And the sense of urgency is really about how do we create that productivity? How do we take productivity as being the foundation of competitiveness? And we've seen over the last decade that there's been a decline. You know, when we look at research like from McKinsey, where it shows just 2% of companies are delivering 63% of productivity growth. And they're doing this by embracing technologies like AI. So companies that act decisively are already seeing 70% faster value, generating an ROI of 40%, even without having perfect data. And that's where we're going to take you down that journey of how can you still accelerate without having perfect data. So the conversation that Philip and I are going to have today, it's really not a conversation about technology. It's really about a business survival conversation and how can we enable you to continue to move forward and accelerate. What we're going to be looking at is, you know, when you have targeted pilots that deliver quick ROIs, the beauty is that you can accelerate and build for long-term foundations without having that perfect data. So, Philip, what can businesses do to transform that data and help them catch up?
Absolutely. Thank you, Christine. So first, let's begin with outlining the current recent model for data and analytics teams right now. You know, a growing number of organizations are moving away from that model, but it's still very common and something that we see in the field. So let's be clear. Enterprise data warehouses are absolutely critical today. They're critical for reporting, they're critical for ESG, and they're critical for governance in general. And there is certainly always going to be a need for some level of centralization. And the data warehouse does unlock some use cases that are absolutely unthinkable without them. But the goal of this talk is to outline some issues with the way that these over-centralized data teams that we've observed, and then we'll propose one solution to fix that problem, and also in a type of AI use cases that sidestep that problem entirely to deliver the productivity that your business needs today. You know, so you still need that data warehouse and the time to set it up correctly. So as we said, consistency and compliance is really one of the strengths of a centralized data warehouse. So let's tell a little story here about the problems that we have with over-centralization. So traditional data and AI teams have had the tendency to over-centralize. The goal is noble, for sure, and we should still pursue it, still pursue that goal, but this approach is flawed. In this approach, a central data team gathers requirements across all the business domains. A very extensive roadmap is created. It's managed, it's updated, it's continuously reviewed and reprioritized. Every data set outside this roadmap is forbidden for AI or other use cases. And results are terrible if you haven't been prioritized or if new use cases come up. So use cases get quagmired, stuck in limbo for months, and sometimes even years. Business units fall back on shadow IT, resist the centralization effort, and value-generating initiatives are forgotten, or the business need to be rescoped or reprioritized. Meanwhile, the central data team is aware of all of this, and it feels the pressure, a tremendous amount of it. The data engineering team has to ingest the data, and it's data that they don't truly understand. Of course, this sounds like a straw man, but we've seen this occur in multiple times, at least partially.
So thank you, Philip. So now we've understood why there's still a lot of value in creating that data foundation for organizations. And now we're going to get into really the heart of our conversation today. So we're going to be taking you down what is a data mesh and GenAI, and how does this dual path of excellence help your business accelerate? You know, what we see across industries is we consistently see that there are two forces reshaping organizations today. On one side, there's a need to unlock governed data across silos. On the other side, there's a need that the data turn it into intelligence and move quicker and move faster with your data. But this naturally leads to a key question. What are the right solutions that can actually make this happen? That's why we're going to focus on today is two powerful enablers, data mesh and generative AI. Together, they create a dual path to excellence, resilience and governance from your data foundation, combined with the speed and creativity and measurable value from AI.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine. Indeed, there is hope. So how can you fast-track your AI project? So first, you can fix that bottleneck using decentralization, and the dominant framework for doing so right now is the data mesh. And then, of course, you can leverage your unstructured data through Gen AI to tackle some use cases right now. So first, how do you avoid that bottleneck? So first, it's really about decentralizing data ownership. So take that part of that ownership, take it away from the central data team, and give it back to the business units who know their data better than anyone. And the data mesh right now is the leading way to do this, to lead this decentralization without leading to a free-for-all. So what does that mean, a data mesh? There's a very related concept, that's the data product. It really means, the data mesh means the business units manage their own data products and publish them within the central infrastructure of the organization. The data is treated like a software product, if that means anything to you. That means that's going to be specified, hopefully documented, cataloged, described, managed, and governed. So collaboration with the central data team focuses really on providing the tools, the governance, and the expertise, depending on the business unit. There might be internal expertise, or they might not. Adaptability is the key here. And the result is offloading the burden on the data team themselves. And then also, with these data products and the way that it's been structured in recent years, you can even start exposing the data sets to third parties, and even, why not, monetize them. So for instance, the HR department, which typically we've observed is perhaps lacking in terms of data maturity within an organization, might want to expose a data set of the number of employees by departments. So the HR might not have internal expertise to publish this data set, and would rely on the central data team to help it, to provide it with some data engineers, and to ensure that confidentiality at all times is preserved. So this is just an example coming from HR, but you would have the same thing over finance. And also, those are by business units, but you could also imagine having multiple plans and then distribute it according to the different plans which have decentralized management.
So Philip, now that we've discovered how a data mesh governance model creates domain ownership, how can we accelerate with unstructured data?
Right, so we've addressed the issue of the bottleneck. Of course, there's going to be a solution that's going to be a bit different for every organization, depending on the size. But it won't happen overnight, and you have to be careful about this kind of change, like any other change. And your stakeholders, but the stakeholders will still expect results right now. So you can move fast by leveraging the mountains of unstructured data that lies underused on your systems. We're talking about wikis, which hopefully are updated, emails even, manuals, regulatory reporting, Q&As, chats, and product descriptions. You can convert some of these into real answers, fast insights, and practical accelerators for specific use case, especially on the front line. So some of these solutions are productized, as you can see on the floor today. Some others will have to be custom built. So for instance here, you can have a technical support team, which is a very popular use case, where basically upon receiving a certain ticket, they can actually match the relevant manual instructions and then provide a very quick answer to the resolution of the problem, which would increase customer satisfaction and thus business outcomes.
So Philip, I think everybody is asking themselves here, is this about agentic AI?
Yes and no, Christine, because agentic AI is one way to tackle these informational purposes. But what we're talking about here is really like how Gen AI solutions can be used for informational purposes. Agents are one way to deliver such informational systems. When we're talking about agentic AI at a high level, we're really talking about taking actions. So think about automatic supplier onboarding, resolving customer tickets, and entering data in the CRM, which is a pain point for many companies. Name it, there are multiple use cases. So, next. All right. So, agentic AI, why the industry is moving there? Really, agents without going into the details too much, agents leverage the ability to use tools and reasoning. These two provide some form of autonomy that everybody wants to use, which would lead to increased productivity. And these autonomy, this kind of autonomy was completely unthinkable 3 years ago, or at least it was in the realm of science fiction. So really, the industry is moving there. Just to mention a few outstanding movements here. So there's Microsoft Copilot Studio that leverages its extensive logic apps actions to create tools. And since so many companies are on Office 365, it's possible to leverage it. So that's a great move by Microsoft. That's really going to expand the use of agents within that ecosystem. Of course, that ecosystem doesn't encompass the whole IT infrastructure of a team, but it goes a long way. Enterprise software is also building agents within their systems, most especially ERPs. And the ecosystem is building standards for secure use, because the way that agents would operate, they access some data, and there's always been that issue of whether that access is secure and whether there's going to be information leaked from unsecured points. And also, there's another big industry move that's being made right now, and that's with code generation, and which is very helpful to develop AI itself. Now, some of the challenges here. So really, even though agentic AI is absolutely promising, and this is definitely where the industry is going, thank you. Even though it's not every issue has been addressed, there's a very gnarly problem, a very hard problem. It is about striking the balance between autonomy and supervision. In practice, this is where the industry is. And to tame that problem, agentic solutions need a careful focus on user experience, where the agents work can be understood, reviewed, and corrected. And that will usually mean a lot of work on the front end. So the lesson here is don't boil the ocean at first. Start by leveraging Gen AI for for documentary purposes, informational purposes before you take some actions. Move on to agents carefully with a focus on balancing autonomy and supervision. Yep.
Good. So then if we look at how do we bring this all together, right, with traditional analytics, the data mesh, generative AI, hybrid strategy, and I think it's really, where is your organization, what level of maturity, how fast do you need to get to, what is your competition doing, and it's really looking at what solution for which department fits best.
Absolutely. Every solution has to be measured against the maturity level of our organization, and this is not a one-dimensional variable here, especially if you've had acquisitions. And it's going to be true across business units as well.
Yeah. And then if we look at the roadmap for adoption, right? So the adoption path is really clear. Start with Gen AI use cases, focused on the right processes. So really what we're asking is for you to work within your organization is to bring the right information to the right processes at the right time. Expand the scope in confidence and look at how it will grow. Move towards ecosystems of agents that are collaborating across functions. And at every stage, and this part is really important, it's the governance and oversight that keep things safe and expandable. And really working as you're growing within your organization on the change management, on the governance aspect. So really what we want to inspire you today is that you don't have to wait to have the perfect data, but you can start today within your organizations to get into AI and to get into some real value-driven solutions for your organization. So just in closing, call to action is really by deploying AI, you can deploy AI with faster AI development with unstructured data. You can reduce integration time. You can increase your ROI. And really, together, they accelerate adaptation and future-proof for your business. So what we're often asked is, once we get through, there's all the solutions. So how do you bring this up to your executives? How do you bring this up to the C-suite to say that you need resources, you need people, you need to have time, right? So how do we help get this movement and momentum internally? So it's really starting by leveraging your unstructured data, experimenting with agentic workflows, and build to scalable foundations for tomorrow. And at KPI Digital, we just don't talk about AI. We build with our clients side by side to help them get accelerated and help them grow that momentum. And if you're ready to join the 2% of companies that are driving outstanding productivity growth, we'd love to partner with you, and let's make Canada a leader in AI adoption.
All right. Thank you for your time today. So if you want to continue this conversation, you can reach out to us or drop by the booth right over there. It's booth 65.
Yeah. And we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very
Merci
much.
beaucoup.
Thank you, Christine. Thanks you, Philippe. We'll be right back in 2 minutes for the next session. Please stand by. Thank you.